Okay, if you're somebody that feels deeply, you might struggle with this fact. Other people might seem to sail through life and just seem really cheerful, but you're the one that just feels everything with so much depth, and it can feel sometimes too much to bear. Feeling deeply is in fact a superpower, and we all have emotions, and being able to feel our emotions deeply is a superpower for each of us. And in this video, I want to talk about how feeling deeply has really profoundly affected my life and my business. Now, the first problem with feeling deeply or feeling at all is that we are conditioned to know and think that happiness is the way. We should be feeling happy. And if we feel anything else, so any kind of discomfort, displeasure, grief, sadness, struggle, these are bad and should be pushed aside. And so often our reaction to feeling anything but happiness is a desire to distract ourselves, so a desire to hide our feelings and to suppress them. So this can manifest in, if you're feeling a little bit off, to drink more coffee or have more sugar, or to distract yourself with something like a dopamine hit, like checking social media again, like eating something, just doing another task or activity, anything that stops you from feeling something that is less than the feeling that you feel you should be having, which is happiness. The first way to tap into the superpower of your feelings is very simple. It's just to pause and allow yourself to feel what you feel. Now, by pushing into our feelings, and feeling all of our feelings, I don't mean that we then vent our feelings or we vomit our feelings onto other people or that we act out of our feelings. It's actually quite a solitary process around just pausing and feeling what we feel. If you think about any kind of physical discomfort, maybe you've injured yourself in sport, it would be exactly the wrong thing to just distract yourself from that and just continue to play on an injured ankle, for example. The best thing is to listen to that discomfort and pay attention to it, and then in feeling the pain of the injured ankle, you're going to find a way to actually address the injury rather than to make the injury worse. And the same is the case for our feelings. If we actually pause and allow ourselves to feel what we feel, there can be great wisdom and truth in that pause. And being able to see something that probably our body, our spirit, our mind is trying to draw attention to. And if we put ourselves into a state of distraction constantly from the discomfort of our feelings, we risk, like running on an injured ankle, to just continue something that's a bad pattern in our life. And in fact, if we're able to pause and listen to our emotions, probably we'll see something that we can actually change, something that our body or our mind or our spirit is trying to help us to see. We can only do that if we pause and we actually feel what we're feeling right now. The second profound way that feeling your feelings is a superpower is that there's obviously our feeling based on an external circumstance, so a conflict, a fight, a discomfort, boredom. These things tend to be external to us. And then there's the feeling within ourselves, and it's a much more an existential feeling. And these external discomforts will only expose and reveal the internal existential discomfort. So an example from my business would be when we're going through a poor month, so we're having a revenue dip, maybe clients are leaving us. Most recently, we had a client disputing a payment and wanting a refund and complaining about our services. So these are external discomforts that bring up a lot of feeling, a lot of frustration, a lot of it can create feelings of anger and annoyance and disappointment and many feelings that are less than happy, right? But in this case, if I allow myself to pause and just feel all the feelings of what's going on in the situation, what I can see is that there's actually a deeper sense of my value and my self-worth, which is being pressed on here. And if I just distract myself by being busy, maybe by blaming other people, maybe by medicating through caffeine or sugar or dopamine, I'm not going to be listening deeply to my spirit and to my heart, which is showing to me that there's some deep work to be done. Because really, we can't be hurt by external circumstances unless we're able to be hurt internally from our heart and our self-worth. And by highlighting that the pain is somehow double, external and internal, there's something being shone here, some inner work that needs to be done, that can only be done if I pay attention, if I slow down and really listen to that. If we have a strong sense of our inner value, we're like a rock in a storm, right? Chaos can happen all around us. There can be all kinds of discomfort going on, but there's something inside us that just knows our deep worth, our deep value. So how do we strengthen our inner world, the existential world from which the weaknesses can cause so much pain for us? Well, traditions throughout the centuries have taught many ways that we can develop our inner sense of self. And it's often this ancient wisdom that allows us to stay awake in our feelings, to really feel life and feel every feeling that comes to us without needing to numb ourselves. And in doing so, really intuit the deeper things that are going on. A few of these things include, but are not limited to, having a strong community of people around you, strong relationships, strong bonds, strong ties, people that love you. Secondly, a practice of gratitude, a practice of gratefulness, a prayer life, whatever that looks like for you. Thirdly, a sense of identity that's grounded in place, in belonging, also a narrative of origin, where you come from, why you exist. And fourthly, a sense of purpose, of what you're meant to do with your hands, with your intelligence, with your creativity, and why it is delightful for you to learn and grow, including why it's positive to go through the range of feelings and challenges that you're facing every day as you go about growing and changing and creating. Ultimately, feeling deeply is an incredible superpower. What it means is you can receive life through your heart and through all your senses and feel the range of experience without either distracting yourself in order to feel comfort or happiness, and without caving into a sense of despair or crushing grief. And a lot of this starts with developing and cultivating a practice of self-worth, self-identity, connectedness to your own purpose. Allowing ourselves to feel is allowing us to see truths about our situation and to really address deeper problems. It's about trusting our intuition, trusting our inner sight, getting in touch with our body, with our gut, with the deeper sense of ourself. And it's also an opportunity to develop the deeper part of you, the deeper self, sense of place, sense of purpose, sense of identity, sense of gratitude. And this is why feeling deeply can become a superpower.